Hello. On the last lecture, on the last video, I had taught you about the human settlement, how the humans are settling in Brazil and India. So we will try to understand the economy and occupation in India and Brazil. What is the Indian economy? How much occupations are carried out in India? And what is the economy of Brazil? And how much and what type of occupations are carried out in Brazil? Economy means everyone, it is related to money. Occupation means like right now I am a teacher, so this is my occupation. Right, you are a student. Student is your occupation. Occupation is some person is doing. Some person is occupied by something. Okay. If I say read the following graph and answer the question. Gross national income from 1960 to 2016. It is in USA dollar. So 1960, like they are getting very low. 2016 is very high, right? If I talk about India, nothing. 2016 they also started earning money. Which country national income was the highest in 2016? Obviously United States. And how much? More than 1800. Compare India and Brazil. Which country had a higher national income in 1980? Brazil. Compare India and Brazil. Higher income in 2016. India. Calculate the difference between the national incomes of developed and developing countries. Like developing countries 2016. Like you need to plus it out. You need to plus the India and Brazil both. Then you need to difference. Okay. So now a table is regarding the ownership of various sector in both the countries is given. Okay, ownership of both the sectors in given. Like Brazil, fill the details regarding the India. Okay, like banking, private and public both. Like banking are also there in Brazil. Railway, private and public both. Those largely public, private and public. It is a public and private sector, right? Primary, secondary, tertiary. You need to explain that like this is primary or not. Okay, on the basis of information about the ownership of various sector in both the countries, can you infer about the type which type of this economies is? Okay, just forget about it. Let's try to understand about economy and occupation, right? So specifically, an economy of a country depends upon the economic activities carried out in the country. A country economy depends upon the economic activity carried out in the country. Okay, particular country economy. Okay, just listen carefully. A country economy depends on the economic activity carried out in the country. Right, economic activity which is carried out in the country. And economy, like for example, Indian economy is depends upon the what kind of economic activity carried out in our country. You have learned that there are three types of economic activities in an economy, like socialist, capitalist, and mixed economy. You have learned in the 9th standard also, right? Okay. So primary, secondary, and tertiary. Teaching is a primary, right? Rice production. Now teaching is a primary. Driving bus, primary. Television, secondary. Beekeeping, primary. Rope making, primary. Jaggery making, primary. Producing blades of pulp, secondary. Extracting iron ore, primary. Construction, secondary. Right? So there are some activities are there which are primary, secondary, tertiary, which are okay. So economic activities in Brazil and India, right? If you see the pie chart, shows the contribution of each sector in the respective country's GDP and the percentage population engaged in various activities, right? So if I talk about the Indian, this right side in India, left side in Brazil. If you see India, primary activity are 17%, and the tertiary activities are more in India. and in Brazil tertiary activities obviously are more. In secondary, if I talk about, it's very less. Okay, so let's try to understand about the geographical explanation of the economy. Okay, in figure 8.1 we saw that India has higher national income than Brazil, right? Figure 8.1 into India has higher national income than Brazil. Like if we have seen, India has a higher national income than Brazil. Brazil is Indian country national income is obviously higher than Brazil. Brazil is one of the world giants of mining, agriculture and manufacture, and it has strong and rapidly growing service sector. If I talk about Brazil, Brazil is most popular in the mining, Kudai, agriculture and manufacturing, and they are growing service sector. If I talk about on the other hand, India is still dependent on agriculture, though service sector is also increasing in India. If I talk about India, India is still totally dependent on agriculture sector, and we are growing towards the service sector also, right? Like the Indian economy, the Brazilian economy is also a mixed economy. Both Indian and Brazilian economies are developing economies. If I talk about the Indian economy is a mixed economy, so same as the Brazil also have a same mixed economy, and Brazilian economy is also a developing country, and their per capita income are very less as compared to the developed countries, the USA. Okay, so their per capita income are very less as compared to the developed countries in USA. If I talk about, as we have seen, Brazil and India per capita income is very less than the developed countries like USA, and it is interesting to note that though India has a higher national income as compared to Brazil, the per capita income of India is lower than Brazil. If I talk about the national income, it is higher than Brazil. Per capita income is lower than Brazil, right? Can you think of reason for the same? Like, can you tell me like why it is happening? Our national income is big, but per capita income is very less. Like individually, the Brazil people are getting more salary than India, but their national income is still less, and our national income is high. Okay, so use the table and make a polyline graph and have the computer. Okay, so per capita income 96 to 2016. Okay, so Brazil is 240, 2010, 306. It is this. Okay, per capita income is very less. The United States is very high, right? The United States is a developed country. Everyone know that. The USA, the America is already a developed country, right? That's why the dollar currency is exchanging from one country to another. The population of this country is well educated. The population of this country is well educated, and this country has the strength of many patents. Like if I talk about the population of America, is they are already a well educated, and this country has a strength of many patents. Like they have many brands, modern technology, mechanical strength, and this country is far ahead of Brazil and India in terms of national per capita income. Like the United States of America is far away ahead of us. The India and Brazil are developing countries. Like they are like our country and Brazil country are both are developing. These countries are progressing in the field of technological advancements, education and industry, and we are progressing fast in the field of education, in the field of technological advancement, and in the field of factories. The national per capita income of the countries is low. So in India, the national per capita income is low. India's per capita income seems to be lower as India's size is very large. According to the size of India, India per capita income is very low. Okay? Right? So there are some occupation which are carried in Brazil if I talk about. Okay? Agriculture, mining and right? In Brazil, if you see which kind of occupations are carried out, agriculture is the main occupation of the people living in the highlands and coastal areas. Like in the highlands, if other two Brazilian Guiana Highland, agriculture is the main over here, and favorable climate are and topography make it possible for growing varieties of crops. Crops like rice, maize are the main cereal crops. Okay, like if I talk about the agriculture is highlands, they are practicing or not? Yeah, definitely you will see over here in the highlands, right? Soybean and all, right? So production of maize is largely concentrated in the central part. If I talk about the maize, the largely concentrated in the central part, right? So commercial crops like coffee, coca, rubber, soybean and sugarcane are cultivated on a large scale in Brazil. Okay, this coffee, cocoa and rubber and soybean are carried out in a large scale, right? Are carried out in a very large scale. Okay, and then the Brazil is the largest exporter of coffee and soybean in the world. Brazil is what they are exporting from their country: soybean and coffee. The major states growing coffee are, which are the major states which are growing coffee? Minas Gerais, Sao Paulo besides. Okay, Sao Paulo are growing the production like bananas, pineapples, oranges and the citrus fruits is also done. Cattle, sheep, goat are reared in the savanna grassland in the south. In the south, consequently, meat and dairy products are produced in a large scale. Okay, so I'm going to stop over here.